I'm James Heaney, and this is Brief News Brief. In an interview on Tuesday, President-elect Donald Trump met with journalists to talk about some of the shifts he's taking in his positions since becoming president-elect. For instance, during the campaign, he would rally his supporters with chants of, "Lock her up! Lock her up!" But since becoming president-elect, he's decided to drop his vow to jail Hillary Clinton. Conservatives view this as both a betrayal and a broken promise. But Trump truly feels that Hillary Clinton has endured enough suffering. In fact, he thinks the whole world should do less suffering. During the campaign, he talked real tough on terror, saying that he would bring back waterboarding. But now he's expressing real doubt about the value of torturing terror suspects. In fact, he suggested that he's changed his mind about the usefulness of waterboarding and other torture techniques. James Mattis, Mad Dog Mattis, he's a retired Marine Corps general who headed the United States Central Command. Well, he said to Trump, "I've never found it to be useful." Mr. Mattis finds more value in building trust and rewarding cooperation with terror suspects. Give me a pack of cigarettes and a couple of beers, and I'll do better than torture. So now, after talking with Mattis, Trump says torture is not going to make the kind of difference a lot of people are thinking. Speaking of making a difference, climate change. During the campaign, Trump denied climate change was even real. He said on day one in office he was going to rip up the Paris Agreement. But now as a president-elect, he says he's going to approach climate change with an open mind. He's enlightened. He now feels that clean water and clean air are very, very important. But he still does not support wind turbines because they kill birds. And you know, he's a big bird lover. The biggest bird lover. He's the only bird lover that I know that walks around showing his pride in bird loving with a nest on his head. Mr. Trump has also denounced a white nationalist conference that was in Washington over the weekend. At this conference, Trump supporters were heard yelling, "Hail Trump," and they had a chilling Hitler-like salute. In addition, the white nationalists say that they have a psychic connection to Donald Trump, whereas I think that they just have a psycho connection and they don't know the difference. Mr. Trump surprisingly also plans to solve the Israeli-Palestinian crisis. He says, "I would love to be the one that made peace with Israel and the Palestinians." His hope is that his son Jared Kushner will be able to brokerage a peace deal between them in this divisive conflict. Jared Kushner is the descendant of a prominent Orthodox Jewish real estate family from New Jersey. Now, in this interview, when he was pushed about potential conflicts of interests in the Trump industries, he said that the President of the United States is allowed to have whatever conflicts of interest he or she wants. It just so happens that he doesn't want any conflicts of interest. But he does say that the law is totally on his side. The President can't even have a conflict of interest. Now, Trump put a lot of controversial wing cabinet members in office this week, and it's been quite a bit of news. But now in this interview, he's taken a lot of moderate stance. It's clear that he's trying to make an effort to forge peace in a country that's so broken up. In the description below, you can read the entire interview from New York's Time at the link listed. Breaking news. Thanksgiving traffic is already here, a few days early. Now, as you'll notice, traffic on the 405 in Los Angeles was already out of control. Now, I don't want to sound like Brian Williams here, but on a personal note, I saved myself and some of my friends from this incredibly terrible traffic jam by deciding to take PCH and go over mountains, through canyons and hills and in forests. But that's right, breaking news, broken here first. Coverage of Facebook's coverage of CNN covering KABC. Traffic on Thanksgiving. It's polls tally time. Let's cover the most recently closed polls. Should Hamilton's cast issue an apology? The answer is no. Does artificial intelligence pose a threat to humanity? Turns out by a slight margin, yes. So be careful. And finally, which decade of SNL is your favorite? Turns out 1995 through 2005. I think that makes you guys some Will Ferrell fans. And for the new polls, first, do you play Facebook games? Yes or no? Second, who do you think the best all-time comedy news host is? Now, you can't put my name in. We've listed Bill Maher, Stephen Colbert, Jon Stewart, or John Oliver. And finally, who do you find scarier? Vladimir Putin or Kim Jong-un?